Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be doing our first down-to-earth review featuring No Time to Explain, the returning exotic kinetic pulse rifle. In light of how detailed some weapon reviews get, which is awesome, don't get me wrong, I'll be keeping things a little simpler in my weapon reviews. So I'll start with an overall look at the weapon, and then based on my experience on Xbox, give a simple 1 to 10 rating for PvP and PvE. I say Xbox specifically because PC users are going to have a different opinion, especially for PvP almost every time. Guns behave so differently on console compared to PC that it's hardly fair to compare. Alright, and with that said, let's get right into it. And actually, before I get into the review, here's my 1 through 10 rating of the gun. For PvP, I'd give it a solid 8, maybe even a 9. For PvE, I would give it probably a 5. And I'll get into those reasons later. Bottom line question, should you get this gun? Yeah, I would say go for it. Except, I don't know of any other way to get it than pre-order Beyond Light, so that's kind of tough to do when it's already been released. But if it's ever available again, yeah, pick it up. No Time to Explain has pretty nice stats overall. It falls into the high damage, low rate of fire archetype. So as far as I know, that means it's sporting a .67 TTK at roughly 5 crits, 1 body shot. I'm sure the extreme ends of resilience, either high or low, shifts that figure a little bit, but generally speaking. For other stats like range, it's going to be noticeably higher than the new Stars and Shadow pulse rifle or even Cold Denial. It also has a higher zoom factor, which helps push out that range a little bit. It gets a damage fall-off range of about 35 to 40 meters, which is pretty hefty. The length at which you can engage with is really helpful and something I like about the gun, but it also has drawbacks, and I'll get into that a little bit later when we talk about PvP. Stability is also not too bad. It's kind of average, but it feels good with the gun. Not too much kick in between each burst, so landing 3 crits is pretty doable. Handling is also around average, I would say, but it's helpful if you have a targeting mod on your helmet. That definitely makes it feel a little bit more snappy and responsive. Same goes for reload. Not bad, but if you have a reload perk, I'd use it. Alright, so besides the basic weapon stats, we have the exotic perk Rewind Again. Precision shots and shots against combatants slowed or frozen by stasis were returned to the magazine. A very good perk in PvE, really keeps your mag going because 24 is not very big for a pulse rifle, but it's really not too bad in PvP either. If you can land crits consistently, you'll find that your mag stretches out a lot longer than you might expect, helping you to go from one engagement to the next. The second perk is Time Slip. At 10 stacks of Rewind Again, a small portal will open, shooting bullets from an alternate timeline version of this weapon. Precision hits extend the portal's duration, so as you get headshots, it keeps your little portal buddy around a little bit longer. I think it adds about a second per burst. I like the little portal buddy. I don't think he's super great, but he definitely adds some forgiveness, especially in Crucible. It adds up to about 33 damage if he lands all 3 of his shots, which I've never seen him miss. That adds up to about 1 crit, so it adds a little layer of forgiveness so that you don't have to hit quite all of your crits to get a really nice 2-burst headshot kill. Besides the perks, you have Fluted Barrel and Ultralight Barrel, increasing handling speed and increases stability, accurazed rounds, pushing out your range a little bit further, and if it's your thing, full auto trigger system. I don't really like it for Crucible, but it's nice when you want to just lay on the trigger and get some crits in PvE. Okay, so now that we have some of the basics out of the way, let's talk Crucible. Overall, it feels really nice. Decent handling, good time to kill, good range, good ease of use. One of my favorite things about No Time to Explain is that it has really nice open sights. It's just a dot in the middle of your screen, basically. Other guns introduced in this DLC, namely Stars and Shadow, a similar high-impact pulse rifle, has kind of clunky sights and they're a little bit obstructive. The range on No Time to Explain is also fantastic. Being able to maintain optimal damage in engagements at 40 meters or above is really helpful when you want to keep your distance. Cold Denial with its smaller zoom factor can't boast that either. No Time to Explain really might just be the best high-impact pulse rifle. So that's the good, but what about the bad? Well, it's a little clunky in close range. Those engagements where you find your people are getting up in your grill with a shotgun are often problematic. That's why I like running either a sidearm or a shotgun with no time to explain. The special weapon situation is also not friendly. It's not good in close quarters, so you have to lane with no time to explain. Every time you do that though, you gotta understand that there may already be a sniper waiting to destroy your face.
You have zone advantage. Zone A locked. I don't need one. You.
So it's helpful to take either untraditional angles on common lanes or avoid those common sniper lanes altogether. That takes some map awareness and thought though, so this isn't really the best gun if you want to just jump into the Crucible and be mindlessly aggressive. You have to be more calculated. So what about some tips? Well, like I said before, keeping your distance is really important with this gun. No time to explain is difficult to manage in close quarters, so use what's available to you to maximize the distance between someone charging you and yourself. So exotics that focus on improving your movement speed is always helpful. Personally, I think Mask of Bacchus would pair decently well with this weapon. I'm excited to get that helmet, but I haven't yet, so I can't really say for sure. Another thing for this gun is that I would probably use pulse rifle reloaders as well as improved target acquisition. It kind of helps to boost the handling of the gun, and it just kind of helps it feel not so sluggish overall. It doesn't feel bad to begin with, but it just gives you that little bit of edge that feels good. One more thing, you can't be quite as aggressive with this gun, so if you're used to a more aggressive playstyle, just try to tone it back a little bit, or at least change up the way that you're aggressive. It has very low escapability, I guess you could say. There is no in-air accuracy, so you can't be running from someone or try to kind of juke someone out and shoot them while you're in the air. I make that mistake sometimes. I don't know about you guys, maybe it's a hunter thing, but I just have this weird problem where things start going bad and I'm like, oh, I know the solution, I'll just jump. And then, yeah, it's terrible. I just get mowed down and I'm like, what did I do that for? So anyway, yeah, just keep your feet on the ground. This gun will serve you really well if you just don't jump around, keep some cover close, and do your best to get that 2-burst kill. I feel like that was a little bit of a rant right there, but hey, you know, maybe learn from my mistakes. So to bring it back around to the beginning, back to my rating of 8, maybe 9. Reason I don't give it a 10 is because it's just not very flashy. There's not potential for like a Thorn 2-tap or something like that. So while it is good, I do love this gun. It's very reliable, it's consistent. The Portal Buddy doesn't really contribute enough in Crucible to make it a really interesting option. It is nice. The Portal Buddy does add some forgiveness, so instead of like 5 crits, 1 body shot for a kill, it's like 4. It's good, but not amazing. Now I do know there's some synergistic capabilities with like the Warlock and the Arc Soul, but I don't really have any knowledgeable opinions on that since I don't play my Warlock very much. Alright, now that we've talked about Crucible, let's move on to some PvE stuff with no time to explain. Yeah, I don't know about you, I don't find that very exciting. Okay, but seriously, I did give this weapon a 5 for a reason. It's very easy to use, headshots come easy, returning bullets on headshots is a pretty nice perk. Not reloading is nice, I guess. But again, honestly, the only way I see the Portal Buddy being legitimately useful is pairing it with Arc Soul. So for 2/3 of the people playing this game, not too useful. But for Warlocks, I could definitely see Arc Soul and the Portal Buddy being pretty fun combined with some of the Charged with Light options, like the Repulsive Arc Blast or something like that. Something you always want to consider is that this does take up an exotic slot, so there are useful heavy or special weapons that it's taking the place of, and to be quite honest, it doesn't offer a lot in return, it's just a decent primary. The Portal Buddy doesn't really add much DPS, it's not a viable option for boss phases. It's just a better than average pulse rifle that you don't have to reload very much. So I know that's maybe not the most glowing review, but those are just my honest opinions about it in PvE. Now I'm sure there are some people that have come up with builds that make this gun absolutely insane that I'm completely ignorant of, so I could be totally wrong, but these are just my opinions. So I think for the rest of this video, I'm just going to let some Crucible and PvE gameplay run, and you can watch that, get a feel for the gun for yourself, see how it looks and handles, and make some judgments of your own. But as far as my commentary, I think that's about it. So thanks for watching. Really enjoyed making this as always. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Sorry it took so long to get around to. I've been meaning to do this for a couple weeks now, but Beyond Light is pretty full of content, and I'm enjoying it so far. Trying to level up so I can do the raid, maybe get Eyes of Tomorrow. So maybe I'll get like super lucky and I can do a review of that gun sometime too. That's for another time though. So if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear from you. So I think that's all for today. See you guys soon.
Barrier down. Elsie, those shanks were using your circuits as arc weapons.
Has zone advantage. That's why we have fire teams. Tell them to line up.